aside from my family not speaking to me and me having no money and being stuck in a job that I hate, my life's pretty good. Have you ever felt like your entire life is falling apart? Because that's where I'm currently at in my life. And so if you're going through something similar, where everything that you thought you knew is disintegrating, this video is going to be for you. And so just to give you a window into my life right now, I am currently stuck in a job that has become a very toxic environment, full of toxic people that I am not aligned with morally or in any other sense. My bank account has hit a new all-time low because I had a couple emergency expenses that popped up. And I am now dealing with financial struggles. And then to top that all off, my family isn't speaking to me because we had a disagreement over the holidays. And so I'm now dealing with this family conflict as well. And something that I find very interesting about all of this is that once I began committing to this new version of myself and really begin practicing who I want to become through journaling, through saying affirmations, when I really started doing those things, consistently, my life got worse and worse. And so I think I would be naive to just completely overlook that there's a coincidence between those two things. And so what I began to do is to look for the silver lining in these situations. And so, for instance, starting with this job that I'm in, a couple years ago, I would have been completely oblivious to even recognizing how my energy is being affected in certain environments or around certain people. And now I am just so much more conscious of when I am stuck in a bad situation, and I can hear my intuition actually speaking to me now, saying, I think it's time for you to get out of here and to move on. And so the fact that I'm stuck in a situation that's less than desirable is still not something I'm excited about. But what I am excited about is that I now am able to understand these things, not just in work, but if I'm around certain people and I leave conversations and I just feel completely exhausted, I'm now conscious of that. And, the more conscious of that and the more actively that I try to be aware of that, it really has a profound positive impact on my life. And like I said, had I not gone through this struggle and had I not been in this bad situation that I am in right now, I probably wouldn't have even noticed that. Regarding the money situation, I always grew up in a household where I was kind of programmed that money was difficult to get. And I grew up being programmed, having a lack mindset around money, and that you got to just work harder to get more money. Specifically from my mom. And what I know about my mom is that her dad, my grandfather, growing up in the Great Depression era, had 13 brothers and sisters. And so that couldn't have been very easy for my grandfather during the Great Depression to have so many siblings in his household. And so I know beyond reasonable doubt that my mother has kind of inherited some of this programming from my grandfather. And as a result, myself and my sister were also programmed to have a bad relationship with money. And so when I look in my bank account right now and I see that it has hit an all-time low, I understand that it is not where I want to be right now, but I also understand that I am looking down the barrel of a gun that dates back multiple generations around this trauma around money. And that I have the opportunity to break this cycle of lack around money. And the way that I am doing that is that even when the bank balance doesn't show a number that you're particularly fond of, I turn to gratitude. And I turn to looking around my life, and despite not having the amount of money that I wish I had, there's just so much more stuff for me to be thankful of. The fact that I'm sitting in this house right now and that I have a smartphone that I can record this on There's just so many things to be grateful for that go often overlooked, right? And so I know that when I eventually become successful again and find myself within financial abundance again, that I'm going to appreciate it deeply, and that I'm going to appreciate it deeply because I remember what it was like when I didn't have much. And even in those times, I was still able to find gratitude. So I know that better times are coming, but right now, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty difficult. Because I had a couple emergency expenses that came up that I needed to pay for that were very expensive. And the situation is just what it is. But I am not going back to living in fear around money. And I am not going back to, being scared to spend money. Because that's just inviting more lack into my life. And like I said, I'm really trying to break the cycle at this point in my life. And then finally, this conflict with my parents. They don't really understand the journey of self-discovery that I have been on over the last 18 months at this point. And when I go over there, I still play into the surface level family dynamics that everyone is just happy to be a part of. But I operate on a much more deeper level at this point in my life, in my relationships and in how I relate to the world around me. And really, me and my parents are just not in alignment on certain things. And so I knew that this conflict was coming at some point because I've just gone through so much personal growth over the last 18 months that for them to expect me to be the same person that they knew and loved growing up, I'm just not that person anymore. I mean, I have completely just awakened at this point in my life, and I am just not who I was. And so, like I said, I think that this conversation, or this conflict rather, was just long overdue, because I didn't do a great job communicating where I was at and what I was going through anyway. And so leading up to the holidays, we had a falling out over something, and there was a couple weeks that went by where I was given the silent treatment or passive aggressive messages or emotional warfare and kind of these dynamics that I grew up around as a child. And I just wasn't really having it anymore. And I really took a stand, a respectful stand, a loving stand from a place with an open heart. And so I know that I handled the situation the best that I could, and they just don't have the tools yet to meet me in this new space of authenticity and emotional honesty because they're not there yet as people, and they might never be there yet as people in this lifetime, and that's okay. But I know that ultimately this is going to lead to us growing stronger because of this. And despite, not feeling great about my parents ignoring me around the holidays and me spending Christmas literally by myself, I somehow think that, this was the greatest Christmas present I've ever received because they were able to see a different side of me and where I'm at and where I plan to go at this point in my life. And we had never gotten that deep ever as a family about anything. And so, like I said, I think you just have to have respect for where other people are at on their journey while also standing in your truth and courageously walking your own path. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. And I know that all this conflict came from a place of love on behalf of my parents and caring, but there was a lot of control and manipulation that I now see through because, like I said, I've just gone through a lot of personal growth. So aside from my family not speaking to me and me having no money and being stuck in a job that I hate, my life's pretty good. But anyway, like I said, this has been tremendously challenging for me to navigate and to continue waking up and being in a good vibration and being happy and being grateful for everything that I have. But I know that this is a period of tremendous personal growth. And like I said, I don't think it's any coincidence that my life started disintegrating as soon as I really started committing through journaling and gratitude to becoming this new version of myself. So I'm thinking of you if you're going through something similar because I know how difficult this has been for me. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. And if you are feeling alone, or even if you're not, I would love to hear from you in the comments below, because, you know, I just want to learn more about what you're going through, and maybe we can actually help each other through this, because I know that there are brighter days ahead. And so with that said, I hope that you found this video helpful in some way. I am John. I will see you in the next one. And until then, I hope that you will be well. Thank you.